All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Forge Your Life podcast. Here today with your host, Richard Fu from richardfu.com. And today I got to give it space here, right? Because the guy I have on this show, he's such a powerhouse. He comes from a powerhouse family, and I really do not underestimate this at all. I mean, I've seen his dad's work, and just to even have him on the show excites me. And his name's Jairek Robbins. He's the son of Tony Robbins. He's a performance coach. He's a motivational speaker. He is an inspirational leader. He's been on TEDx. He's done everything. At the age of 23, guys, he received and let me get this right, the Congressional Award from the United States of Congress. And he was just 23. And that was just not that long ago.
Right there.
Sorry, what was that, man?
I said, there you go. There's all the medals right there.
All the medals. All right. I had to stop at the end so he could show off his medals, man. And, he's a superstar. And I'm just excited to have him on because he helps companies actually accelerate and reach their goals with pinpoint precision, but most of all, in the fastest way possible. And so it excites me to bring him on the show here, guys, to talk more about how he helps corporations and businesses achieve the real success that they're looking for. So, guys, please welcome Jairek Robbins to the show. Jairek, good to have you on, brother.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Man, I'm excited to have you on, man. And so, Jairek, man, for the people who haven't heard about you and your work, right, could you share a bit more, man, about how you got started in all of this and how you got to where you're at right now?
Sure. So I was born in 1984. I went to my first seminar, 1983, while I was in my mom's belly.
Yeah.
And so I literally grew up in the personal development world. When I was in my mom's stomach, she was teaching people how to break through their fears and maximize their performance purely by NLP, which is my godfather, John Grinder. And so I grew up around all these personal development tools, thinking that that's normal and that everyone gets access to them. As I grew up, if you want to fast forward, I realized as I got to high school, college, university, all these places, that most people don't have access to this information. Mm-hmm. And the number one thing you hear most often when going to seminars and events is you hear someone in their late 30s, 40s, 50s saying, dang, I wish I would have knew this when I was younger. Mm-hmm. Thanks to the internet and lots of young people and their parents learning this stuff over the generational age of the human, the humanist movement and the actualization movement that's going on all around the world of people trying to aspire to be their best selves and actualize into what's really possible. And a lot of work that's going on in the world. There's lots of young people nowadays who hear about it all the time. So you get, 14-year-old kids on Instagram telling you inspirational speeches and how you need to change your state and be positive and focus on the good. It's like, wow, this is cool. Because back in the day, you had to be let's say 40-year-old business person who had extreme wealth in their life and the ability to pay to go talk to these people who are working on all this cutting edge science at the time to give you access to this information. Nowadays, you can get it free on YouTube, which is awesome, or on a podcast like this or anywhere else. And so it's not the information that makes the difference any longer because it's everywhere. And so the question becomes, how do you get someone to really apply it? And so my life experience was watching lots of people learn and learn and learn and learn and learn and learn and learn. And then turn around lots of times and say, wow, I just learned all this amazing stuff. Here, I'm going to teach it to you because you need to know it. So sign up for my course and I'll teach you how to do what I just learned. The weird piece that existed right in the middle, which is them actually doing something substantial with the information. And it also left in my life because I was very young at 18 and I decided I was going to give my own workshop. And I partnered with the Learning Annex, who was a big company back at the time. And I taught a course and they titled it and they marketed it and it was called How to Change Your Life in One Night.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, guys. So no big promise on my part. Thanks for the underselling of this. I'm sure I'm going to over deliver on this one. So I showed up and we did it 4 times with them. And the first one, there was 12 people, 9 of which were my family, but they paid. I was pumped that they paid. The next one was 20 something people. Next one was 40 something people. And by the 4th one we did only in 1 month. By the 4th one we had a room set for 40 people and we had 120 show up and standing room only crammed in the room because it was useful. And the word spread that it was useful and people liked it and they all showed up to see it. And so in that space, that's where I kind of got started, was taking everything I learned and trying to just share it and teach it to people. And I realized at some point there was a piece that was radically missing in my life, which was the application of everything I had really learned, getting tangible physical results with it, actually putting it to work and seeing real results in my life. not just talking about it, not just feeling good, but actually doing something with it. So fast forward, lots of great stuff happened in between. I took a trip around the world on a cruise ship, did 10 countries in 100 days with Semester at Sea, life-changing experience. If you're a young person listening who's still in university, Google Semester at Sea and sign up as fast as humanly possible. It'll absolutely change your life and give you an experience that you can't get anywhere else. Doing a semester abroad and living in one country is nice, but visiting 10 different countries and becoming a world citizen and understanding how the world works and getting to walk in and out of different cultures and countries and communities and see the whole world, or a good, at least 10 countries of it, is a remarkable experience, all within 100 days or 3 months of your time. And not a single human being I've met who's come back from that trip ever looks at the world the same way again. It opens up who you are, and it did for me. From there, fast forward, came back, finished school, decided to go volunteer, lived in a village for a while, teaching organic farming in English in Uganda, no running water, no electricity, no toilets, just learning what it is to give back and make a difference, and also what it is to really just live life without all the constructs of society or communities telling you, here's how it's quote unquote supposed to be. Yeah. You're not supposed to grow up and get a job and do this. You're just supposed to live there. And so it's a whole different structure of society and how things work. And it's very beautiful and it's simple. And my thought is, if I could learn how to fall in love with life with very little, I would always be rich no matter where I go, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Then from there, also before I went and did 3 months of hard labor work. So working at a lumber yard for 3 months, where every day I was just stacking lumber, and it was hard. My body never hurt so bad in my entire life. And I used those 3 experiences patched together as kind of a rites of passage experience from a boy to a man. If you understand the Maasai tribe over in Africa, they have a rites of passage. When you're 14 years old, all the men in the village, they dress up, war paint, deck out. And at 2 a.m, they kidnap you from your home. They drag you out to the forest. And then they pull the hood off your head and you realize, oh my God, I thought I was kidnapped and going to be killed. And it's my uncle, my dad, my brother, my cousin, all the family. And you're like, oh, phew, thank God. And then they have a ceremony. And at the end of the ceremony, they say, okay, now here's your transition. You need to stay out here in the wilderness by yourself for an entire year. You need to learn to hunt. You need to learn to protect yourself. And you need to learn to defend and be of value to yourself and the world. And then and only then can you return to the tribe, because now you can add value to the community. As young men in today's society, for most first world countries or developing nations, we lack this ritual. There's no point in which our family as young boys say, hey, you're 15 years old, leave home, and go figure out how to provide for yourself, how to defend yourself, how to create life that you want. And once you figured that out, then come back to the community and we'll support you and you can support us and we'll all do this together. For most young men specifically, and women can do this too, but it's usually traditionally done for young men, it's lacking.
Yes. And
so we have lots of young men who also learn lots of motivational stuff, who see lots of people online doing big things, thinking, dang, I'm going to become successful like them. I'm going to make money and travel the world and become famous and write a book and have a program and do all this stuff. And they've learned all this great stuff, but they haven't lived it yet. And they haven't put themselves to the test where they take a year of their life, they drop everyone they know, everything they're good at, everything they're used to, and they go out into the world and figure out how to quote unquote make it. And they struggle. They hit brick walls and they force themselves over it, through it, under it, around it. They do whatever it takes to find a way to finally get the results they really want and desire. And they're able to take care of themselves mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, so much so that they figured themselves out. And at that point, they come back and figure out how to then serve the village or the community that they're from, whether that's their family, their friends, whatever the community they belong to in their own mind. So that journey was my journey through that 3 months of stacking lumber, 3 months of traveling the world, and then 3 months of living in a village. And roughly that year was my rites of passage to figure out who I really was, what I was really about, and how I was really going to show up in this world. From there, came back, finished up university, went and took an outside sales job, door-to-door, office to office. I love speaking and training people, so it was a lot of fun. And then from there, decided to start my own company.
Wow.
And I used all the skills I learned, all the experiences I had to build a coaching business based on life experience. And I was very good at a couple things at that stage of my life. I was very good at time management and organizational process of how to perform better throughout your day and how to maximize your day. And I was very good at that stage of life of figuring out how do you make a dream or a vision into actual tangible reality? What things have to happen for you to actually take something on paper that you're thinking about and make it real? And so that's what I focused my coaching business on, those two things. And I was able to grow that business from scratch to 6 figures in 8 months. And we've been growing it ever since. And we've expanded and layered on all kinds of stuff to help more people. And it's a performance coach basing business. So performance coaching is a helping profession. My job is to show up and help people perform at their absolute best. So since then, I've done all kinds of research and homework and application in my own life to figure out, how do you get yourself to run a marathon, a triathlon? How do you get yourself to be the healthiest version? How do you take yourself from, average health to extraordinary health as far as physical muscle body shaping is concerned? How do you grow a business? How do you manage a team? All these factors I've been applying in my own life and then sharing it with others of what works. And the philosophy that goes around it is, first, learn what it takes to really have the life you desire and deserve. Second, live it, fully apply what you're learning and actually tangibly get the results. And once you have the results, turn around and give it, pay it forward, and find a way to share what worked for you. Not as 5 golden pillars of this is the ultimate formula that will work for everybody. When I was young, I used to believe that stuff worked. And now it's like, no, everyone's different. Everyone has their own unique formula. I can give you a handful of things that have worked for me and worked for thousands of our clients. But past that, you have to apply them yourself and figure out what actually works for you.
Wow, Jairek, man. Sorry, man. I just love what you're saying here, because so often with personal development, with all the things that we learn about how to grow ourselves, we're so absorbed. It's like we become a sponge where we just absorb. But then, the moment we ring ourselves, all of that just disappears and there's nothing there. There's no substance to it. And so I love that about your story here that you shared, is that you didn't just sit there and go, you know what, I just know all this stuff, Richard. I know all this stuff and I'm going to show it to you. And here's all the theory. That you actually said, you know what, actually it means nothing if I don't back that up. If people come up and say, how would you know how to build a successful business, Jairek? I mean, good for you, that you've learned all these things, but you actually went out there and you're just like, you know what, I got to build this for myself. And then, like you say, and with your book as well, live it. You just got to live it. And that will make a huge difference, isn't it, man?
It does. And so if you comb through my life, we have a successful business that we can run from anywhere on earth via a cell phone, laptop, and the internet. Yeah. We have, and it takes care of myself. It's allowed us to buy property and to own our home and stuff like that. It allows us to handle charities and help build schools for underprivileged children around the world. It allows us to reach our goals and take care of our family and friends. I have an amazing, beautiful wife that I found, and we have a deeply loving and passionate relationship with each other. And so I have tangible results. I run marathons and triathlons. If you Google my name, somewhere on there, you'll see a picture of me doing a 90-day transformation on my body, going from average, good shape to, buffing out my muscles and having a 6-pack and all that jazz. So these are tangible things that I've actually done, not just stuff that sound good to talk about because I listened to it on a tape somewhere, a podcast, or read about it. Yeah. And I think it's really, really, really important, especially for all people, but especially young people nowadays. And because I felt guilty of the exact same experience, which was I learned it and then I started telling everyone about it because I thought that's a great thing to do and it is useful. And I realized what would make it more of something of substance for others is actually doing it so they see the tangible results and they go, dang, how do I get that experience? And once they see that, they're like, okay, now I'll pay attention. And I don't have to say a word. I don't have to go stand outside and try to preach to people. They show up and say, hey, how the heck do you do that? And I say, well, here's what works for me. I don't know if it'll work for you, but try it. See what happens. Now, in our coaching business, the focus of it is kind of like a Olympic coach. We only work with people who are already understanding the basics of what they need to do. And I've learned this over time. When you show up to the Olympic training center, you're not trying to figure out how to run. That's not the place to learn. That's the place that if you feel you're the best of the best of the best runners on earth, you show up and they can make you better. And that's what we do. If you think you're the best at what you do in something you're focused on in the world, come work with us. We can make you better. We can fine tune you. We can help you perform at even higher levels and excel far beyond what you're doing. And so, day one of working with us in a coaching capacity, and I would say for anyone listening, here's a way to understand how to improve your performance. Day one, you show up and say, hey, I say, what's your goal? You say, I want to win an Olympic gold medal. I say, great. In what? And you say, the 40-meter dash. I say, wonderful. How fast are you? Step one. How well are you able to produce the result you're trying to go after right now?
Yep.
So we take out a stopwatch. We walk you over to the track and I say, ready, go. And you run your face off and I time you and you get to the finish line. I click the stopwatch and I say, well, here's what we're actually working with. Here's what you can actually do right now at this moment of your life. Your best performance just clocked in and you ran it in X amount of seconds.
Yeah.
Great. Well, now we got to match it up to reality. How does that match up to the rest of life? Are you a gold medal time winner? Are you a silver medal? Are you a bronze medal? Are you someone who can even make the Olympic trials? Or are you just someone who runs really fast and loves to run? And we figure out how you actually match up tangibly to the world around you.
Yeah.
And this is how you match up. Okay, great. Well, where do you want to be? You want to beat the world record. Okay, you're telling me that you're going to do what it takes to run faster than any other human being on earth has ever done this before. The training, the intensity, the diet, the mindset, the focus, you're willing to do this. If you're willing to commit to this, we can get you there. Big question. So second part, once you know what you want, once you know how you add up against it, next question is, are you really committed to do the work to get the results you're after? Most people aren't, truthfully. I mean, most people say, hey, I want to, I want to have a wildly successful, passionate relationship. Well, great. Are you willing to put in the effort to have that? Are you willing to put that other person first? Are you willing to serve them and love them and dedicate your life to them? Are you willing? I think Eric Thomas, the ET, the hip hop preacher, says it best. He says, when I was homeless and this girl took a chance on me because she said she loved me, I didn't have a lot to offer, but I could cook her dinner. I could iron her clothes. I could fold her clothes. I was willing to serve her, to show her that I was dedicated to love her above everything in my life. You want a relationship? Are you willing to serve that other person? Are you willing to love them beyond what's reasonable? If not, you won't have that kind of relationship. If you go further, you want a successful business? Are you willing to show up and add more value than any other human being around you every single time? Are you willing to show up when you're not getting paid as if you're getting paid more money than anyone on earth to do this, and you give them your heart and your soul and every ounce of sweat and energy you have in your body for that moment? If you're not willing to do that for nothing, you're not going to get paid the sums you're trying to get. You want to have a great body? Are you willing to put in the time? You got to work for that shit. It doesn't just show up.
Yeah. Showing up's only half the game, but the other half is the bigger and the more important half, isn't it, man?
Well, it's not even half. Showing up's just getting started. I mean, that's like saying, hey, showing up to the Olympic Training Center, that's half getting to the Olympics. No, I'll give you a fucking tour and kick your ass out. Like, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of people who show up and try to work with us. And it's like, hey, if you don't know what you want, that's a challenge. We have lots of tools that can help you. We created something called the Ideal Day Design Kit. It's chapter 1 of our book. And it's basically how to design a life you actually really want and how to do that. So that's something we give away free on our website. And so that's figuring out step 1 of how do you know what you really want? If you don't know how you match up against competitors or against what's else there in the world, and people like say, well, I don't believe in competition. That's wonderful, but the world does. It would have been really sweet if Michael Jordan said, hey, I don't believe in competition. I just go out and play with my heart every day. That's nice, but that's not how you become Michael Jordan. He believed in competition. When he lost a game, he would cry because it hurt so bad. Now, that's useful in your teens, 20s, and 30s. If you're 70 and still crying because you lose a match, you need to learn about non-attachment and how to just be blissed out with the beauty of life as it is. If you're 18 and walking away going, hey, everything happens as it's supposed to. If I lose, it was meant to be. Bullshit. You need to cry over losing and learn how to get some pain in your body and hurt when it doesn't work out in your favor, and use that pain as a driving force to force yourself into doing what's necessary to get the result you actually want. I was talking to Elliot Hulse, if you've ever seen him. He has a show called Strength, or a place called Strength Camp. Very popular on YouTube, has like 1 million something followers. And I was talking to him. I said, what happens most often that challenges you? And he said, one thing that challenges me is when a 22-year-old man shows up to strength camp and he says, well, don't you believe in non-attachment to the result? That if I'm trying to squat 315 pounds and I can't get it today, that I shouldn't be emotionally attached to it. I should just release my emotions and allow life to happen as it's supposed to. And he's like, son, that's a great fucking philosophy for 50 years old. At 22, you better be pissed out of your fucking mind if you can't get that weight up. And you better use that energy to drive your ass to do what's necessary, to learn, to work through and fight for the tangible results you want in this world. Because if you're 22 years old and you're in the Maasai tribe and a lion comes and attacks your village at night, you can't stand there and watch the lion eat your mom and your brother and your cousin and your sister and all your cows and go, hey guys, it's just meant to be, huh? No, you got to take that shit personally, and you got to go get a spear and you got to hunt that lion. You got to fight it and you got to drag it out of that camp and say, hey, get the hell back or I'm going to kill you. Lion's only a metaphor for the peaceful and the things and the opportunities we let devour our family and our lives at a young age because we're using this great philosophy that says, hey, we shouldn't be attached to it, right? At a young age, you should be. Use it. Take it personally. Use that as fuel to light the fire in your soul to fight and drive and work and strive for what you want in life. Now, from there, once you've achieved it, realize you don't need to be attached to it. It's just stuff. But if you want something realistically tangible in this world, you got to be willing to get attached to it.
Wow. I'm sitting here, Jairek, and I'm like, whoa, man, my mind's just blown because it's like so long. And this is what's interesting is so long we grow up listening. Well, I've grown up listening that you just don't get attached to the result, Richard. I mean, like, don't get attached to it. And then here I'm sitting here going, you're telling me, hang on, Richard, you're like 30. So you got to go out and get attached to that shit. And if you don't get that shit, you fucking go do something about it.
Yeah, it should hurt your fucking feelings if you don't get the result you said you were going to get. It should piss you off. You should be upset about it. There's nothing wrong with being upset. Upset means reality doesn't match what I think I said in my head it was going to be. So my blueprint in my mind, how I think life is supposed to be, doesn't match. I can't sit around and smile and go, well, I guess it's not meant to be then. You can, I mean, if that's what you want to do, but that's not going to get you results. That's not going to increase your performance. I'm working with an athlete and they're like, hey, I want to run faster. And I say, well, don't be attached to that. That's not how you win a fucking medal. And again, this is a very specific group of people. This is only for people who want to increase performance, who want tangible results, who want to go out and achieve and accomplish and experience what it is that they desire. Now, that might be a beautiful family. Slightly different approach in that aspect. Achieving certain results in your business, certain results in your time management, certain results in your health and fitness. But if you want results, you have to be attached to them.
And something pops into my head here, Jairek. Like you say that this is for peak performance, right? People who want to absolutely push themselves to absolute limits of how far they can go for themselves. And talk us through this. I mean, like, I'm sure you work with your clients and most of them, you know, they push themselves, but then the other ones where they actually push themselves and they beat themselves up because it's like, you know, God damn it, Jairek, I can't get this weight up. And I'm just a piece of shit. I'm just crap. And how do you get them out of that? What do people need to get themselves out of that?
So I just give them a physical analogy. I say, okay, let's go outside. I want you to run a 40-minute dash. And while you're running a 40-minute dash, I want you to take this stick and beat yourself over the head with it. And let's see how that improves your performance. I haven't met a person yet that can run faster while trying to hit themselves over the head with a stick. If you meet them, please introduce me. but it doesn't work. So the easiest way to get them to stop doing that is to show them it doesn't fucking work and they need a new thing to do. And usually what's really happening is it's just their own way of emotionally meeting their own needs by trying to connect with themselves because they are disappointed and they are frustrated. And instead of using that frustration to drive them to action, using it as fuel, we call it emotional rocket fuel. Pain, fear, anger, upset, frustration. All those things are fucking useful as long as you use them and you don't let them use you. There's a difference there. I'll say it again. As long as you use them as fuel, it hurts so bad being where I'm at right now. I don't like this feeling, and I will do whatever it fucking takes to never experience this again in my life. That's fuel.
Yes.
Versus, I don't like where I am. I'm such an idiot. I'm so stupid. What's wrong with me? That's nothing. That's a waste of fucking time. So how do you get them out of there? You get them to use it. And you actually stir it up more. It's the opposite of what people think. People think if I can get away from my pain, if I can get away from my fear, that'll be better. No, stir that shit up till it hurts so bad that you can't think of anything else but to get the fuck out of there.
And talk us through. Yeah. Hit me with an example, man.
Give you another example. Same thing. And again, friend of mine, Eric Thomas, I was chatting with him the other day, and here's what's interesting. I'll give you two examples. One, he says, if we walked you out to the ocean or a pool, and I held you underwater, and I just held you there for a while, and eventually, at some point, what do you want more than anything in the world?
To breathe.
To breathe. And it starts to hurt. It starts to get painful. It starts to get scary. You start to freak out. Your fight or flight kicks in. Adrenaline shoots through your body. Fear shoots through your body. Anxiety shoots through your body. All this like, what if starts to happen. Now, guess what that's made to do in your nervous system? It causes you not to just sit there and be like, well, I guess I'm going to die, so I might as well just give up now. All that shit happens in your nervous system, the adrenaline, the cortisol, the stress that's going off in your body, your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure pumps up, your heart starts going, your body starts to break down glucose at a higher level, so you have fuel to push and force and energize yourself. Fight or flight, your pupils dilate, you become an enhanced version of yourself for 60 seconds to fight like hell to live. That's what extreme pain can do for you. But most of us try to avoid it because we don't like the feeling. So we eat ourselves, sleep ourselves, drink ourselves, sex ourselves, porn ourselves. I don't know what the hell people do nowadays, but they do everything they can to numb that feeling versus to sit with it and be very, very, very fucking uncomfortable. And if you can let yourself get extremely uncomfortable and use that pain to drive you, now you can do the next thing, which is if you have a reason you're fighting for bigger than yourself, it becomes also more fuel that compels you, not just pushes you. Pain can drive you to action. It's powerful. It's strong. The analogy I always like to use, if you use Fast and the Furious, that movie, a little can of nitrous oxide in your car, you press that red button, it's a huge boost of energy. It's crazy. But you can't drive a car for more than 15 seconds on nitrous oxide or you'll blow up your engine. Same thing. You can't drive your life on pain forever or you'll blow up your engine. You'll short circuit your whole nervous system. You'll burn out your adrenals. You'll stress yourself to the point that you put yourself on bed rest. You can't just drive yourself on pain. So you need something compelling on the other side. Going back to my friend Eric Thomas, I remember I was texting him the other day. We were going back and forth. And he was like, hey, man, I'm getting ready to go up there and do this speech where I'm at. He was in D.C. And I said, great, I hope you do well. I said, I hope you crush it. And he wrote back, my family eating tonight depends on it. I was like, damn. Yeah. Like my family doesn't eat tonight if I don't fucking perform. That's not pain. That's inspiration.
And I love that you bring this up, that we can't stay in the pain, in the fear.
Nah, you need something else on the other side that's going to pull you and compel you. Feeding his family, taking care of his wife, taking care of his team, taking care of the people who depend and count on him is right back there saying, hey, my family's life depends on me showing up and giving 100,000% of who I am as a man right now and shaping these people's lives for the better with every ounce of who I am and what I can deliver. I'm like, wow, what if most people not only allowed themselves to experience more pain internally, so much pain that it literally drives them to action, and They had a reason to fight for much larger than themselves in the process that would allow them to go after what they really desire, knowing that it's for something much larger than just their own satisfaction. He does. It's his family. And I asked myself the question. I said, damn, if I showed up to every interview, every speech, every coaching session, believing that I have to crush it right now or my family won't eat tonight, would I be showing up differently than I am right now? And if so, what do I need to do to get there every time? And for anyone listening, do you show up every day as if your family's life depends on it? Now, we like to psychologically go, oh, yeah, I get it. You know, if my family's life was on the line, I'd be able to perform, huh? Don't fuck with that statement. Be real with it and seriously sit down and say, shit, if my family's life was on the line tonight and I had to perform at the highest level in every capacity of what I'm about to do today, am I willing to show up at that level today? Because I'll tell you the truth, at some point, in some moment of your life, your family's life will depend on it. And why not start practicing now? Versus that day where they do and you go, oh shit, I don't know if I can protect us from the lions today. I don't know if I can defend us from the village who's trying to invade. I don't know if I can keep our business going from other competitors. I don't know if I can stand up against some family member who's trying to emotionally beat us down. I don't know if I can stand up and discipline my child in a way that will not let him implode on my family. Why not practice now before the lion shows up and you don't know if you can even handle it?
And I love that you bring up the practice now, because it's so often we think, I'm just going to show up. Like I talked to some of my friends, hey guys, why don't you go talk to that girl that you're like, it's not the right one. And it's like, dude, you got to practice. You got to practice. You got to practice. You know, you think you're going to turn it on when you see her? When you think you can turn it on when your business needs it? No, you practice. I'm so glad that you brought this up.
Yeah. Speaking of business, you know, the weakest muscle most entrepreneurs have, if you're a solopreneur or a small business, the ability to make money now. You have the ability that right now, if you had to generate an extra $20,000 today, to do so by selling your products, by selling your services, by selling, whatever it is you offer to the community of value. If you had to literally produce $20,000 today, could you do it? Now, most people perception-wise go, oh, yeah, of course. I mean, I guess I could. You know, I just sell like 10 of these and 20 of those and a couple of these. It's like, well, great, go do it. Practice. Do it every day. There's no excuse. But most people think in their head, oh, yeah, I could do it if I really had to, you know. Then fucking do it.
Cut the talk, right? Just show the action.
Yeah. I could get that girl if I really wanted to. Really? Floor is all yours, stud. I could have that life if I really wanted to. Really? Still waiting. I could win the gold medal if I want to. Get on the track. Put some cleats on. Let's see. Live it. This is the concept of saying, hey, you can have whatever you want if you're willing to do the work, but don't bullshit yourself telling yourself, I could have that if I really wanted to. Prove it. Get out there. Do it. Tangibly put some rubber on the road and show me how you can make that a reality. And you can. I believe in you. I'm not here telling you can't. I'm just saying, hey, if you're going to talk about it, make it real. That's what we help people do.
I love it, man.
We're not a fluffy motivation company that's like, you can do it and I believe in you. Just keep working hard. Working hard every day won't get you an Olympic gold medal. Specific strategy will, a certain diet will, a certain performance routine every day will, a certain mental routine will, a certain emotional routine will, a certain physical routine will. But you got to really, really, really work at it. And you got to realize there's hundreds of thousands of people competing against you every day. Now, if you're 65 years old listening to this podcast, this message is not for you.
We should have said that at the start, man. But yeah,
I have a whole different conversation for you. Different stage of life. But if you're in your 20s or 30s listening to this, this message is for you. You got to do something. You can't just sit there and talk about it. You can't just dream about it. You can't hope that someday someone's going to pass away and leave you a fortune. You can't hope that a lottery ticket's going to come true in your favor. You got to figure out what you want. You got to figure out how you match up against it. You got to figure out what your plan is to actually perform and close that gap to where you want to go. You got to measure and fine tune. You got to show up every day with every ounce of your mind, body, and soul. You got to get pissed off if you don't get the result you want. You got to use that fuel to drive yourself to action every day and claim the life you really desire and deserve. It's there waiting for you. Good news is, for the mass majority of people in this world who'd be listening to this podcast, you're privileged enough to have access to something like this. Means you're privileged enough to have the opportunity to go get the life you want. Lots of people I met who lived in villages, it's a lot harder for them to get started. If you're living in a rural farming village in Uganda, and even there it's still possible, but it's a lot harder of a start.
Yes.
Most people who I've met listen to podcasts live in cities or suburbs around cities. They generally do pretty well in the world and in their life. And so overall, you have a lot fluffier start than if you happen to be born in the slums of India or the slums of, pick your country, Guatemala, or the villages of Rwanda, and watch your whole family and village get slaughtered at a young age. Like, you get a lot fluffier start if you haven't gone through those things. And here's what's wild. Even meeting people who have gone through those atrocities in life, they end up succeeding more than everyone else. Isn't that wild? People like to complain and tell me, well, you don't understand. It's so hard where I come from. Dude, I met a 13-year-old girl who at 13, her village was slaughtered. She survived by climbing up in the hills of Rwanda and hiding in the tall grass for 4 days, eating grass to stay alive. She eventually escaped, and she had so much hatred in her heart for the people who murdered her family, her friends, her relatives in front of her own eyes. And eventually she was able to turn that hatred into love, and that love into a process that can go help heal others. And she started a nonprofit that now goes around the world and finds young people who've lived through atrocities and helps them heal. Those people tend to do more in the world than people who have no pain, or imagine that failing a test is ultimate pain. Very different. Most of us aren't getting enough pain in our life and aren't going through transitional experiences that allow us to really understand how to transition ourselves from a boy to a man. Most of us don't have those opportunities. And if an opportunity isn't given to you, you got to create it. If you're a young guy in your early 20s or 30s listening to this and you haven't had some type of transitional experience in your life, like I described, where the young Maasai boy has to go live on his own and figure out how to provide for himself, figure out how to defend himself, figure out how to create the life he desires on his own, you need to create your own version of that. You need to sit down and say, hey, if I'm going to take a year of my life and figure this shit out, who am I going to be? Where do I need to go? And how do I need to show up to make sure that I can make sure every ounce of boy that exists in me dies, so that I can truly be a man for once in my life and step up and become someone of service to the community and society around me. If you're a young woman listening to this, you're welcome to do the same. I'm not leaving you out. But it's a call to action to young men. Figure out what that year's journey would be for you to show that you can defend yourself, you can provide for yourself, and you could be of service to the community around you. And go do it. Nowadays, we turn 21 and people give us a beer and take us to a strip club and say, hey, you're a man, huh?
Well done.
It doesn't do shit for anybody. The strippers make some money, but besides that, that doesn't help out a whole lot.
Jairek, man, and I love that you talk about this, because this is why we started the Ultimate Man movement, so that more men show up, because there's such a huge gap between what the modern world is at now and what it needs from our men. And so I'm glad that we're having this chat. I mean, it's not what I thought it would be, talking about pain and how we all need more pain. And I love it, though. I love it because it's so contrasting and it's exactly what's needed out there. And man, Jairek, man, I just want to say thank you for your time and thank you for your wisdom and just bringing it to this show, making it living it. Man, I just want to say thank you, Jairek, for jumping on the show, man. For the people who want to connect more with yourself and your work, Jairek, where's the best place they should head to?
Just our website, jarekrobbins.com.
Awesome. We'll add that into the show notes, man. And one final thing here, man. Is there anything you love to mention that we didn't get a chance to cover off on the show here today?
I mean, the only other thing going on, depending on what stage of life you're in, and this isn't for, I mean, if you're younger listening to this, it's probably not the right fit for you. But if you're mid 30s or late 30s and you're really truly feeling like you want to be a leader in the community, and you're welcome to do it if you're younger too, but truly, I want people who've gone out and have tangible life experience before they go through this program. We created a really awesome program called Performance Coach University, and we train other people how to use all the tools we use in coaching other clients of ours, and show them exactly how to use those tools to become a leader in their community, a leader in society, a leader in their business, and to better manage and get high performance out of their team and their clients. So if there's anyone on here who fits that role and you want to become a really powerful leader in the world, in your community, in your family, in your business, you can check out performancecoachuniversity.com.
Awesome, man. We'll add that to the show notes. So, man, Jairek, man, thank you again for jumping on, man, just busting it open up those wounds and the pain so that we can actually move forward, man. Thank you again, dude. Awesome. So, guys, this wraps up another episode of the Forge Your Life podcast. Here today with Jairek Robbins, talking about pain. And I know this would pain Jairek and myself if this was a secret. This can't be kept a secret. Make sure you share this out and head on iTunes so we can share his message and everyone else's message out there. You can go to richardfood.com to grab all the show notes and the resources that he shared. And of course, head on over and have an amazing life. Go enjoy yourself. See you on the next one, guys.